The 100 Years' War has been raging, and once again the English find themselves fighting their historical enemy, the French. Will this day see their destruction and the English repelled from the mainland, or will they be able to cement their foothold in French lands? Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish, and welcome back to another epic historical siege battle in Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. Today we have an absolutely glorious battle as the English and the French go to war against one another. I was also sent this replay in over on my Discord, which I do very much appreciate, as they have been sending in some really high quality battles recently, so it's always great to see them continue. But today we have an absolutely humongous battle as the English have been cornered. Over 16,000 soldiers ready to fight and die for your entertainment. So if you guys are enjoying this and you want to see some more battles, make sure to go ahead and drop a like and a comment down below. I'm actually going to go ahead and stick the battle on slow-mo, as we do have some cavalry sallying out onto the battlefield to have some fun with the French. So we have the French going ahead and attacking this settlement, and the English are going to be coming out and getting a pretty nice charge off straight away onto the French dismounted knights, and yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal. Nice little charge there by the English knights to kick this battle off. And what we'll do though is actually we'll just go ahead and pause it really quickly so we can see the setup of the battlefield itself. So the English are defending. We've got 3 English players. They're obviously going to be scattering the settlement walls with artillery, infantry, archers, and obviously retinue longbowmen. Also, they've got their dismounted knights as well, ready to commit themselves to these battles whenever their lord does commit it. As we push further back, obviously we've got a pretty major last stand with barricades defending in, really trying to funnel in the attackers as best as they can. A lot of cavalry, as well as, yeah, these beautiful kind of multi-halberd infantry units, which just, yeah, devastate. Really good armor piercing, and yeah, can really get themselves stuck in. The English foot knights are deadly. Then outside of this element, we do have 2 French forces and a force from Lorraine. So yeah, nice little mix there of French units. Genoese crossbowmen. We've got some of the Viard des Communes. I butchered that pronunciation, and I apologize to all the Frenchmen out there. I won't try and pronounce any more French names because I know that will hurt deep down. Yeah, there's a whole range of, you know, very elite French infantry. Getting some more of their dismounted knights right here, and then obviously we're going to be getting a lot of their halberd infantry, the shock infantry, again very deadly indeed. They're even equipped with a shield on their back, not that they're really going to be using that, but I guess it gives them a bit of protection and some more cavalry. So let's just go ahead and get this battle kicked off as the English do sally out, and it seems like their main goal was to actually assassinate the trebuchets from Lorraine, and they've done a pretty good job of that. I think they killed the entire artillery crew. Yeah, it's routing right here, so this trebuchet crew might be able to get itself back on, but not all the trebuchets. That's going to severely impact them. Obviously, making a breach is such a huge thing to do. And another cavalry charge just coming in, straight up smashing these guys, and they weren't in shield wall, which is going to severely dampen their ability. Luckily, there are some halberds here who will be able to repel that charge much more effectively. However, this cavalry is going to wrap around. More of the Lorrainian troops are now arriving. Is that the right word? Lorrainian? More of the troops from the county of Lorraine are now reinforcing here, and obviously trying to bog down as much of the English knights as they can. They want to try and just take the wind out of them, slow them up where they can, cut them down as they try and pull out. But obviously this English cavalry is just here to cause as much disruption as physically possible, especially with the artillery coming in. And oh my god, a direct hit there with the artillery as the cavalry comes up and just follows through, ripping. Can you imagine the dismay that unit must be feeling right now? You just had a fireball rip through you, and when you immediately get hit by heavy armored knights, my god, I would be turning and running to the hills right away. However, reinforcements have arrived. French cavalry have now turned up, able to obviously reinforce this section and really help out their allies over on this left-hand side. But even with that cavalry, the English knights are still just causing mayhem. And the main thing as well that you've got to take into account is that this assault on the right-hand side is very much about to happen. It has begun over on this side, as we do have some French soldiers pushing their way up the halberds, looking to make a breach point on this wall so they can obviously reinforce this. But yeah, this assault is happening right now, and that's going to really disorganize the actual overall game plan, because as you can see, Lorraine is still all the way back here, and they haven't even started to push up their siege towers, meaning that, you know, the English can really commit a lot of soldiers to this defense of these walls. and not have to worry too much about the assault on the other side, because it's going to be delayed. It's going to be 5 minutes, meaning that they can really focus down these French, and that's such a huge thing with a sally out. It's not so much about the casualties you get, it's not so much about killing the enemy units, it's just about disrupting the attack and really kind of, unraveling their assault plan. Because a lot of the time, what you want to have happen in siege battles is you want to make it so that like one side breaks through and they can go and support the other side, which I guess can still happen. These French can break through and then reinforce over on that side, but you want to be really keeping up the pressure so that the defenders can't send any of their reserves to reinforce where they're weak. But right now, they can commit a lot of their reserves. Speaking of which, though, the French have done an amazing job of already breaking up this point. And the English reinforcements have not been able to quell this position right now. And we're seeing more siege towers being committed to the battlements. And I love the look of these new French units as well. Them shields are very awesome indeed. Equipped with maces, warhammers, axes, anything to break the English. And now they are flooding the walls in full force. We have another ladder point over here. You can see more French knights as well. And it seems like the English defense is a little bit static right now. They have soldiers kind of committed here. They need to like right click on the attacking forces, so they will just surround them and they'll get way more kills that way. Like right now, this unit is kind of just sitting here. They need to kind of micromanage this battle a little bit better. However, I think their main micro focus is probably over on this cavalry, which have been able to retreat. They've got some decent kills. 126 on this unit, 255 on this one, and 49 on the other. So overall, a pretty successful sally out. And as I said, they've still disrupted the forces here massively. Really have done a deadly job right there. However, they are very much struggling over on the other side. The French are throwing everything they have, and even with these English longbowmen hammering up on the wall, shooting through the gaps. Seems like the French have been able to make their way into the settlement, and now it's going to start being some pretty dangerous issues. However, there are some English foot infantry coming over to obviously reinforce this section of the battlefield. And they can find themselves a nice little charge there off on the side. And they really have to start using these streets to their advantage. You can see another unit of English foot knights coming over. Obviously, the longbow ammunition coming in. And one of the nice things is what you can do is you can really turn this away around on the attackers, kind of really funnel them into these streets and then use that to your advantage. However, obviously, as we can see, there's a pretty nice position right here. Wait, what the hell is this? Is this a unit of, have they taken the Gatehouse? How the hell did they take the Gatehouse? No, the Gatehouse is just opening because that's what Total War Attila does. Yeah, I think that's just, the Gatehouse is just opening because Total War Attila. It's so silly. This bug has been in the game since Total War Rome 1 and is still not fixed. How crazy is that? It happens in Warhammer 2 as well. It's just so silly. These archers managed to get an entire volley. These archers got 13 kills because the gate just randomly decided to open. I think all you need to do is just set a toggle function. Allow the player to toggle open, the gate and, have it, on, a 15-second cooldown or something. I don't think it's that difficult. Boom. Solved. However, I doubt we'll see something like that for a long time. The other English longbowmen are obviously seizing their advantage in the streets, able to volley in. Arrow after arrow, trying their best just to, support their defenders on these walls as best as possible. And that's obviously where the English defenders are going to really succeed, is just getting as many arrows as possible in the flanks. Because one of the things that is so beneficial is that there's no, defenses here. So the arrows just find their mark directly into the side. As well as that, they obviously also have the towers constantly shooting. But the French are relentless. The French are constantly throwing themselves forward. And now they have some of their French foot knights upon the walls once again. And you can see the damage that they are causing to this front line. Very nice indeed as they continue just to throw forward. Regiment after regiment. They will brute force their way forward. And that balanced battle bar is not looking so good for the English so far. But as to be expected, the attackers get way more money to spend. And man, what the hell is going on here? These forces are now finally moving. It's taken them a couple minutes, I guess, to reform. The trebuchet is now shooting once again. And how many trebuchets do they have? Oh, they actually have still 3 operational trebuchets, which honestly is actually really good. I assume they would have 1 operational, but I guess they are all working at minimal crew level. So not too bad. They could definitely still make a breach. I'm not sure if they're trying to attempt to actually make a breach. We've got one of the artillery pieces here. Maybe going for some infantry. As that makes its impact, unfortunately, not getting any kills. Yeah, I mean, obviously, trying to take down part of this wall would be really good. I did see one of the pieces of the wall down at 30%. But I'm not sure exactly where that was. I'm pretty sure I saw one, but I guess not. Yeah, making a breach point would actually be very, very impressive. Once again, maybe they're out of ammunition now. But at least they've gone ahead and got these siege towers moving to initiate the assault on this side. Heavy street fighting now as the English clash with the French once again. And you can see some of the newer uniforms for the French as well. I haven't played 12-12 in a little while, so actually I get to see these guys fight for the first time. I imagine they are going back and updating some of the more older factions. Because, of course, the French and the English have been in the game since the very beginning. So as the assets get more and more, improved, new stuff gets added, these older factions definitely get the love they deserve, which is always awesome to see. Especially because I imagine a lot of these factions are the factions that are played the most in the campaign as well. Brutal street fighting from these elite units, and really what the French are looking to do is obviously maybe even taking this this gatehouse right here. If they could secure the gatehouse, which would be absolutely huge, they would then be able to just kind of ignore this flank and just get all their infantry pouring in. However, this gatehouse does pour down burning oil, which is like the most OP thing in the entire world. Taking a look at the rest of the wall, you can see that the English are being slightly overwhelmed. However, the archers are getting some decent kills. They've got 40 kills on this unit of archers, 50 on the other. This one hasn't actually fired any ammunition. 22 on this one. So the English archers are, 140 kills on this unit of archers. The English archers are definitely getting their money's worth, but the French are just refusing to quit, able to really push up these defensive positions. And once they've cleared these walls, they'll be able to then get their own missiles up on the wall and firing down on the English defenders. That's kind of the initial goal of any siege battle, is to get to the ability so that you can get your archers on the wall. A pretty brutal arrow volley moving in there as well. Luckily not killing any of the halberds quite yet, but as you guys know with Total War Attila and the way that the death system works in that game, the first couple volleys don't do any damage, and then they kind of wipe off that Halo-esque shield. And then all of a sudden, you'll start seeing a lot more men racking up. Oh, did the towers get taken? Oh, the French have now secured this. The French have secured this capture point. They would have lost a ton of men as these towers blow up and kill everything around them, because that's how Total War Attila works, and it's absolutely stupid. But now they can start pouring infantry through. They can start pouring their cavalry through. I'd really look to seize this opportunity as quickly as possible. Get as many men inside the settlement as possible. We are also seeing one of the English sergeants here surrounded on two fronts by the French knights. Once again, they're being held in place by the sergeants, and then obviously the foot knights able to bring that larger halberd down upon the helmets of the English knights. And that's going to be very effective. Obviously, that's a deadly unit that you don't want to be coming up against. We have to take down a lot of their opponents. They're also pouring themselves off of these settlements. So yeah, the walls themselves are looking pretty deadly. But again, it's not all about just holding every position in a defensive siege battle. It's about trying to make the enemy pay for every inch they take in the settlement. Because if you can wither down the enemy assault force, by the time they then get to your last stand in the city center, they just won't have enough to break through your halberds, the archers you have, and so on and so on. But we'll have to see if the English can go ahead and achieve that. And how is the assault on the other side of the settlement finally now arriving, however, in drips and drabs, and also with not many men in the units. This unit that is charging the gate now, the Forlorn Hope, is down to hardly any soldiers. Yeah, these guys are not looking too good. But I think their main goal was just to simply get that tower to the walls to reinforce. More cavalry pulling out as well. Luckily, it has now been silenced, but my god, has that cavalry been annoying. Yeah, 161 kills on that unit. A very nice sally out indeed by the English. And yeah, as you can see, like, it's really disrupted the assault. Like, imagine what would have happened if Lorraine attacked at the same time. You know, like, the English don't have enough men to withstand this. You can see a lot of reserves were brought over here to obviously help deal with the French. And if that would have happened at the same time, the French would have broken through here a lot quicker. Lorraine would have been able to kind of keep up the pressure. And right now, the English are able to really fight a tactical withdrawal right now. I think that is their decision, is just to kind of start pulling back, bringing over some archers, and kind of just set up their next layer of defense in the settlement. So we'll have to see how effective that is. However, the street fighting is continuing as the French and English battle once again. But as you can see off in the distance, so many Frenchmen just, you know, using them ladders to their advantage. And soon enough, the English longbows are going to be silenced just with the lack of ammunition that they still have. And that's going to be pretty bad. If we take a look at the inner defense level, though, obviously there's still ages left in this battle. But if we take a look at the inner defense level, there is still plenty here. And it does seem like the English are not willing to give out the outer layers quite yet. They are committing some more men to this. So 2 units of English foot knights are being committed over to the right-hand side. Some archers are being brought back in. Over on this left-hand side, we have a unit of English foot knights and some archers being brought into position. But something you got to remember as well is if the French can secure this capture point right here, that's going to allow them to bring soldiers out of here and able to really start putting pressure back here, kind of almost negate these rocks, negate this defensive position. However, the English longbowmen are not too bad in melee combat, especially the retinue longbowmen. One of the things I love about 1212 is that if you pay a lot of money for archers and you get the best archers in the game, they're actually half decent in melee. Obviously, they're not going to beat foot infantry, you know, the higher tiers of them. However, they'll hold their own for a decent amount of time, and they'll keep the enemy at bay. You know, they're still equipped with decent armor, they're still equipped with better weapons. So they do a nice job at holding. However, the French knights have been able to make their way in and just ripped through these archers. I mean, they still can't take a cavalry charge. And none of his infantry was braced either. So the French knights truly making their pay this day. And are now fully committed into the battlefield. And yeah, taking that gatehouse was absolutely huge. It enabled stuff like this to happen. They can now start committing more infantry a lot safer inside the settlement. And these knights are going to be racking up the kills. I mean, if we take a look at how many kills they're on already, 56 kills already. The French Chevaliers able to really blow a hole in the English defense. And they've also got more French knights here. A nice surround here by the French, able to really bring everything they have to bear. And we'll be seeing the English longbowmen breaking, I think, very soon. Still holding their own for a little while. But as they start to rack up casualties, that'll be it for them. Over on this side as well, we have the English late spearmen, kind of like with that Pivise-esque shield, trying their best against the French. But, you know, obviously they're fighting shock infantry, which is, you know, perfectly designed to deal with a spear unit like this unit. It's not going to be doing a lot of damage. So their weapons are, you know, very well equipped to just push through there. And as you can start to see, the fighting is just kind of, you know, erupting everywhere. Capture points are being taken. The defensive position right here has now been taken. The gate has been completely overrun. And now the archers are being brought to bear as this poor unit of English foot knights is currently engaging against the French general. However, he's getting just shot by hundreds of arrows in the back right now, as the French turn the walls onto the defenders. Yeah, and that's going to see these foot knights go down very quickly, I think. Oh, now, who's broken? Is that one of the English armies? Yeah, I think one of the English armies have broken. So there are only 2 of the English left. And right now, the French can really start to utilize their initial gains. However, it's not like they haven't taken casualties. If we take a look at the balance of power, you can see the French have almost lost over half their force right away. The English have also lost half their force already, or close to. Again, I think the balance of power is still pretty even. And the English are now pulling back inside the settlement. We also have a few units of cavalry as well. You have this unit of horses able to make their way in and actually engage against one of the English bowman units. However, they are being hammered by arrows. But again, this is kind of good for them because it's absorbing a lot of the arrows on this cavalry that is going to be very useful when it comes to this inner layer. You know, the cavalry isn't going to be of use when they fight, you know, for this last stand. So, you know, using them guys to obviously chase down archers is huge. Using them to absorb ammunition is huge. And here we go, the King's bodyguard now making his way out to obviously send back the French cavalry back to the protection of its lines. I think that cavalry is going to be getting hell out of there. But still, you know, it's still absorbing ammunition. This is a perfect unit to do so. And as you can see, the settlement is completely overrun now. The outer layer only having a handful of units. We've got like, what, one unit on the walls, still bravely fighting as best as they can. The units over here have now been broken out. They actually almost did kill the French general, down to 18 men now, which obviously would have sent shockwaves. This gatehouse is just completely open. Archers now volleying in as the French try and push their way in here. More halberds reinforcing the defensive position. But, you know, I think it's only a matter of time until this position is cleared out and we start seeing some archers down here. I think this tower is going to explode momentarily, killing everything around. Like, look how dumb that is. That's so stupid. Total War Attila, why? I mean, that is huge for the defenders, right? I just killed pretty much the entire English foot infantry unit that was defending there. I think it did kill the entire English foot infantry unit. However, I don't know if the French can still use this as an entry point now. I mean, again, they have no choice. Even if they wanted to, that would always happen. Even if they had cleared this up, as soon as they push down here, this would always destroy. I'm not sure if the map is designed so that you can still use this. I don't think it is. I think the French are now relegated to coming down this section of the battlefield, which kind of sucks, obviously. If they were able to obviously get some men around them and in the back, that would have been, you know, pretty big. But obviously then they would obviously have to suffer counter charges as well. So I think at this point we're going to basically just see the French kind of make their way inside the settlement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip ahead until the French have kind of pushed their way up, and we will come back at for what I assume will be the final stand of the English defenses. So it looks like we're seeing a little bit of a push on the left-hand side as the French throw forward their kind of like weakened soldiers, basically just to try and kind of absorb more ammunition. I think this is a good idea. Let the English waste ammunition on your units that are pretty much broken already, who aren't really going to be putting up much of a fight. The English, though, are obviously sending forward some of their weaker units as well. Again, both sides not looking to overcommit their fresher units, try and keep them back as best as they can. Right now, though, the outer settlement is completely overrun, and honestly, the French have a lot of missiles left. You got to kind of give them credit. They've kind of held back a lot of pavés, a lot of bowmen, and actually a lot of crossbows. 2 units of fresh mercenary Genoese crossbowmen over on this left-hand side, which is going to be huge for when they push in. Luckily, the French knights are breaking under the pressure of the missiles, but again, the English are running low on arrows, and that's going to come back to hurt them, I think, especially as the French do push up. A little bit of a cavalry engagement here. The English knights charging down at the dismounted ritter. Again, just trying to soften up the assault. And I guess, like, this sally out kind of almost helped the attackers quite nicely. Like, obviously, they lost hundreds of men out here, which was bad. But, you know, Lorraine's force has been very fresh. The French have kind of taken that initial brunt. And now Lorraine are turning up with a lot of their force still intact, besides, obviously, that sally out. So now they're able to actually kind of push up and act as the front line. But the English still have, you know, 2,800 brave men. But it's going to be interesting to see how many men they have left after the missile bombardment does get committed to this fight. Okay, so the archers are now pushing up. The French are really committing everything they have going forward. We have a nice little sally out here by the English general, able to get a pretty devastating charge onto the enemy infantry as they continue to push up, and the foot knights are going to now take over for that general. However, unable to get a charge there, so the French being able to commit their forces in there is pretty tasty. Already up to 84 kills there on that unit. The English general with 149, so almost 150, just one off right there as more of the French infantry gets pushed in. However, the deadliest thing is look at these missiles. There are so many archers here, which are able just to obviously volley in and really start to take down the foot knights. Again, you'll see this unit only taking a couple casualties to begin with, but all of a sudden, the numbers will start to drop, and it will not be pretty. The French have so much ammunition left that the English are going to be really up against it. And honestly, I wouldn't be too opposed to the English maybe trying to sally out. But yeah, I don't know. They're in a tricky situation. They're doomed if they do, doomed if they don't. And it's just whether or not this French ammunition can really wreck down the English line. They are even saying that there's still so many divisions of these French shock infantry units pushing forward. Crossbows moving into position. Arrow fire constantly coming in. This English foot infantry is down. There is still some ammunition left for the English, but it's just not enough. We do actually have a nice little push out here, though. The shock infantry is obviously proving its worth, able to push back the dismounted Ritter of Lorraine as one of the English generals. Henry V making his way in this unit. Is he like in a specific piece of armor? Or also, can I see him out? I don't know what he would be like equipped with, honestly, to make him stand out. Maybe like a special helmet or something. And a unit of spears are being brought up as well, obviously to give some cover as well. The shields are good because if you stick them on top of the shock infantry, they're going to be able to hold that line. I mean, honestly, able to really throw back the French forces here. But there's still plenty more to come. I mean, as I said, it would not be I think it'd be a good idea, honestly, to commit out like a lot of your reserves over to this left-hand side. And just try and like break up a few of the positions because the French have committed a lot of their shock infantry over here. So it might be invaluable to push out. Or to see how much ammunition your archers do get. Because they still have, what, like 2 units, 3 units of archers who still have ammunition left. So it definitely is still possible. And you can see Henry V moving out there, obviously just trying to do as much damage to this Ritter as possible. And you can see the English aren't stupid. The English are keeping back their halberds. They're keeping back some of their valuable units, you know, until the French start committing more of their kind of crossbows right there. Right now, the Pavese right here are able just to put up that shield and start absorbing a lot of the arrows that are finding their way in, waiting for this barricade to go down so that the crossbows then can just fire point blank into this English foot infantry unit, and which is starting to take a lot of damage, down under 130, losing 16 men on that volley as well. That's pretty deadly. Yeah, really starting to see the damage, and these crossbows are now being pushed up as well. Now going to be firing point blank in that volley. Yeah, this unit is getting absolutely demolished. And as I said, I'm surprised this unit isn't being like pushed out to maybe assault, because yeah, they're just getting killed where they stand. That is horrific. Unfortunately, not able to hold that. Over on this side, though, oh my god, Henry V is holding his own. He is refusing to give up this line. And the French are dropping on numbers. I mean, they still obviously have all of these soldiers still left remaining to throw into the battle, but even still, a hard fight. The left-hand side is also being held down by a unit of halberds. These billmen trying their best to repel the foot knights, but a lot of them are losing their head. Just of the sheer pressure as another unit of voyeurs now get brought up for the French. Obviously a perfect counter right there. But the English, once again, able to hold this left-hand side very effectively. It's just for crossbows. It really is just for sheer amount of crossbows. And the longbowmen are going to have to really commit their way into this battle. The main fight is obviously going to be over on this side, as the English spearmen are being brought up. The last arrows are being spent for the defenders. And it's just whether or not they've done enough. Honestly, this battle is going to be close. The French are throwing everything they have at the English. And as of yet, nothing is sticking, but they still have just so many bolts left remaining, which is going to be huge. But once again, another unit repelled. English able to send them back. Henry pushing forward once again up to 100 kills now. Able to almost break back another unit from Lorraine as the last couple of units of infantry start to get brought up. And there you go. All these units are out of ammunition now. I mean, the English, I think, did not take as much damage as I thought they would from that assault. Able to push up and kind of try and scare off some of these crossbowmen, which isn't bad. And again, it wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe send these crossbowmen around here. And I mean, they've kept these units back in reserve to obviously focus down units like the voyeurs. Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know. I maybe should take back everything I said about the English. Like, the French ammunition has kind of just like bounced off the English. I mean, obviously it has done some good damage. Like, you know, it's managed to take down these unit of foot knights, but you know, they're still able to get a nice little charge off right there. Getting 20 kills on the charge is brutal. Obviously, this unit's going to break momentarily, but still, they've managed to rack up, you know, 32 kills now. Actually devastating this unit of dismounted Ritter. Can't believe how impactful that charge actually was. The balance of power bar, though, is not looking good. But they only have, like, there's a very similar amount of men left. And if if I was the English, maybe what I would do is I'd bring round all, I mean, what's more important, killing the foot knights or killing the voyeurs? That's a hard decision as this left flank has now broken. I think these crossbows helped off with a volley in the back. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know what would be better to shoot. Like, trying to kill these voyeurs and kill the halberds, or bringing these archers round and trying to kill the foot knights. I mean, obviously the foot knights are more heavily armored, and they do have a unit of archers who are very close to running out. But the English longbowman has proved its worth this day. It really, truly has. And like, yeah, this unit of voyeurs is going to be hard to deal with now that they have no more of their billmen. But the archer fire able to pick off these smaller units. Breaking the smaller units is huge. And the French are once again taking like a 600-man advantage, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. Yeah, and it's just whether or not they have enough. And there's still plenty of ammunition left on this flank as well. You know, I mean, not plenty, but yeah, these French archers still have decent amount of missiles. But yeah, they did decide to actually bring around a unit of archers from this left flank to obviously reinforce this. Continue to volley in on the French knights. Just try and pick off as many of them as they can. Because literally at this point, every kill is massive and will make all the difference as the English once again prepare themselves. A nice little shield wall though here. A shield wall able to repel, you know, whatever gets sent their way for at least a time. That is going to be a unit of a very angry Frenchman charging into that shield wall once again. With a derelict Colosseum in the background. And the destroyed English flag on the ground. There you go. Yeah, I mean, this line's going to hold, but it's going to probably crumble in the next couple of minutes. And the English are going to have to do something about that, whether it's bringing over more archers. Got some yeomen of the guard here as well, who look beautiful. I mean, look at these guys. Whew. They look very good indeed. Yeah, whether it's bringing over more infantry. Yeah, the halberds are coming over to help. Oh my god, look how much these spearmen are getting demolished. We've lost 40 men already. It's only been like a minute. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of shock infantry, I guess. And that is buckling the English under a lot of pressure. But the English are finding themselves pretty much, you know, running out of men to defend these positions. The French cavalry have been able to find their way in, hit into the back of these English foot knights, and then make their way over here as the Genoese crossbowmen take a pretty brutal charge, able to volley off, though, a deadly shot of their crossbows, and then getting hammered in the side by the French knights reinforcing there. Able to envelop what remains of the English and send that king back to his island with his tail between his legs. Another charge here by Henry, making his way in. 150 kills is not bad, but is it going to be enough? Yeah, I think at this point, the English are just buckling. They still have a couple units, but just not enough. And there's still ammunition left on these crossbows. How? Yeah, look at that. Pulling back now, realizing that the yeoman billmen are able just to withstand this. However, finding themselves charging the enemy. And then all of a sudden, the French knights now come flying in the side. This is catastrophic for the English. You know, the only strength of the billmen is that they're like a brick wall with spikes on them. But as soon as you disrupt that formation, as soon as the French can get in the side of them, yeah, you can see these guys getting slaughtered. They are quickly retreating back, but taking heavy casualties as they do. That is not good. They needed to be on guard mode right there. They really did need to be. A unit of pikemen being brought up as well. Some mercenary Swiss company being thrown in. Obviously, again, the main focus point of the English longbowmen. As the foot knights try their best to wade their way through the large pikes. As arrow after arrow finds their way in. And one of the generals do indeed go down. I think that was Henry V there being slain on the battlefield. And there is just way too much open ground now. The archers are being committed. Wow, the pikemen actually broke, I guess, under all this ammunition. And yeah, I mean, all the French really need to do at this point is obviously they've got their generals circling around, obviously getting hammered by arrow fire. But all the French need to do is, you know, kind of split up their assault, commit more men, like, around to this position, commit more of their men around to this position, and then just, like, obviously make their way in, funnel the English into this one section. Because right now it's obviously useless pushing in against these guys. You can see they're obviously doing the smart thing. They're bringing up their crossbows here to fire point blank. And just having shock infantry ready to push in. They obviously also still have their Duke's Foot Guard back here as well. So a very strong general unit here to be ready to be committed as well. Yeah, you can see they're ready. The crossbows are going to be firing in point blank at the spearmen. Again, luckily the spearmen can kind of withstand a handful of volleys. They have decent missile block chance, but it's not going to be enough as the French are so close to their line. And already they've been able to break through their archers, finding their way in. This unit of English foot knights, though, 236 kills. Not bad whatsoever, considering they've only lost 60 men. But all it will take is a nice little charge in the back. And yeah, you can see that the French are just trying to cause as much disruption as physically possible as the English fall back, surrounding, trying to hold the capture point as best as they can. And one of the things as well that's so crazy is like these archers aren't bad melee infantry units. You can see they have 55 melee attack. Like for a longbow unit, that is not bad. 40 melee defense. Compare that to like infantry, like they have better melee stats than a lot of infantry units. So when you do end up paying the big bucks for these units, like they're still decent. Obviously, they're not good at bracing against enemy cavalry charges and stuff, but besides that, they're still very decent. And there you go. The spearmen have now broken. It's only this unit of yeomans left. The archers are able just to get a couple more volleys off. As the crossbows once again literally get so point blank. And I think these guys are going to be charging or falling back maybe. Yeah. Giving up this position, which is going to allow... Actually, no, they're charging out. Yeah, I mean, this is not a bad idea. But once again, a counter charge will be devastating. Obviously, as they try and pull out. Reforming the line. They'll leave gaps in their formation. As you can now see that, gaps do start to appear when they do this. Crossbows hitting them as they kind of try their best to reform. And I think the French are going to be... I mean, I say that though, but, they are running out of men. And these longbowmen are still pretty decent. 46 melee attack on these guys. Decent health, nice morale. Armor's looking 55. Like, it's obviously not going to be as good as foot knights, but... Yeah, the armor on the foot knights is almost double. But the French are running out of men, Luckily, they still have that unit of cavalry, but that just took a chunk of HP from these guys. Morale-wise as well, the French aren't looking, amazing either. There's an entire unit of English foot knights over here. This unit needs to get this else over here as quickly as possible. And there you go. It is now being brought in, and it needs to get over here ASAP. That French general, though, breaking, that could be pretty big. I mean, honestly, this battle is anyone's game right now. The morale on a lot of these units are low. I just can't see the English have... the English do not have much left. They really, really are running out of men. And there's still ammunition left. Nice little outmaneuver here by the French crossbows. And yeah, they're just having 4 units of, semi-fresh foot knights. Plus having, just infantry pushing every single side. It's going to be pretty brutal. Nice little counter charge right there, or rear charge, I should say, by the English foot knights. That's going to be enough to probably see the Garda Escosai pushing back so badly. My God. Charging into the back of these guys is going to be enough to probably see them up. But their morale is holding. They're low on morale, down to 14 morale, but still holding for now. And that's going to keep that unit kind of busy. Crossbows being brought up, able to fire in. And yeah, more archer fire is moving in though, and these French knights are starting to drop as well. One of the units has already broken. I mean, I don't know. Who's going to win this battle? The French morale is looking pretty bad. I mean, they just need to brute force their way through. The fire arrows coming in, just trying everything to try and send them packing. I mean, if they can break a couple more units, the French general is now having to be brought up. Obviously, his plan is to probably assault through this way and try and cut them in half. Nice little break right there. And the English, the morale has kind of rallied now. Fire arrows have finished. And I think the French... I keep on saying this, but I think the French must have it now, surely? The shock infantry will eat these longbowmen alive. Got a fresh unit coming up here to try and break through here. But the morale has all of a sudden started to dwindle again. Yeah, oh my God. Are the French going to lose this? The French are going to lose this. The morale is dropping. These crossbowmen are very close to going down. A couple units breaking. This reinforcement of the English foot knights now coming in. Man, this battle is literally going down to the wire. And it's just a morale game now. Whoever chain routes loses. It's a shame there's just nothing left now. Man, if they can break this unit of crossbows. The infantry's breaking. Nice move here, though, by the French to get their crossbows right around the flank and then obviously volley into the back of the English dogs. The French general now cutting through the longbows. The longbows just need to hold. This battle literally comes down to who can hold the longest. Because obviously these guys can now come over here, stop these crossbows from shooting into the foot knights. The French foot knights are very close to breaking. That's exactly what they're doing. Another unit of longbowmen just sent to obviously hold up the Duke's foot guard. Can we break these guys? All they need to do is break these guys. That's going to save them so many casualties. The crossbows now charging in. The English foot knights holding the line. And the French are so close to breaking. Oh my God, a mass rout here. However, now the English are losing. Everyone's on low morale right now. French are breaking, but so are the English, and I think the French are going to snatch this one. Are they going to snatch? They must snatch it, right? 8 seconds left, yeah. And the English break, but my God, there are literally about 200 men left on the battlefield for the French. That is crazy. What a battle. And if you guys enjoyed that, make sure you drop a like and a comment down below to see more Medieval Kingdoms 1212 on the channel. Holy, that was insane. Such a close battle. And yeah, we take a look at the kills right now. The English foot knights doing a very good job. And the bowmen, the bowmen just did devastating amounts of work. And obviously the English cavalry as well. Not bad whatsoever. Henry, it's just a king's bodyguard getting 200 kills. The English cavalry once again, and the English longbowmen, proving their worth, staying up to history, and obviously the foot knights here as well. Over on the French side of things, again, their dismounted foot chevaliers doing decently. Their cavalry actually racking up a lot of kills, and their bowmen once again doing a very nice job. Unfortunately, that trebuchet was not able to be used, but luckily the foot infantry did a good job there as well. So if you guys enjoyed this battle, make sure you drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.